What's up, everybody? 4 years off heroin. 4 years, dude. Super proud of myself. I'm extremely stoked. I'm glad you guys support me. Warrior, my boy, Driven Industries, Eric Zink, he gave me this hat, so I'm rocking it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much more coming on this platform, but I want to go ahead and give a shout out to those who are suffering and struggling right now. Reach out to me, text me, call me. We can get you help, so make sure you do reach out to me. I want to hear from you. I want you guys to know you're not alone. That's a fact, and I'm trying to come up with resources to help Kurt, the wife, has got a YouTube channel. Go subscribe. She's going to be doing videos on it soon. That'll be down in the description. We've got a lot more. I've got content I'm sitting on right now that we're going to be launching. This guy on the news named Cody who went missing. I've got real brief interview with him and his girlfriend. They were all over the news. There's a lot more that I'm bringing to the plate here. I love you guys. Hit that subscribe and like button. Be sure to check out the stuff that I'm going to be doing soon. I love you. 4 years. Check out this Punisher shirt, check it out. Got it for like 13 bucks at Walmart, y'all. Also, for those of you who are in my Discord group, and if you're not, be sure to join it. I'm actually having my PayPal. Guys, my PayPal's down in the description. We're actually needing monthly, like a monthly contribution to keep the bots going that we have. We've got a variety of things to keep the platform on Discord going, so be sure, check it out. Show me some love if you can in the PayPal so that we can keep that at least self-sustainable within the community that we have to help people in recovery. There's a lot going on in the Discord. If you don't know about it, in the description you can join it. Download the app, it's free, and you guys can all join it. But if you want to help contribute, hit that PayPal that I have in there and help me out, because I'm going to be making sure that we have bots going. We've got music room, we've got meetings, you name it. Love you guys. Thanks for helping me out, and don't forget, call or text me if you need to hear from me and you want to talk to me. What's up, everybody? Big D. I got Chanda Lynn.
Hi.
Chanda, what's up? Yeah, you guys, if you don't, right? Oh my God, you remember that song, Boats and Hoes, or whatever, Step Brothers?
Yes.
Anyways, I'm being dumb, y'all. Go check her out on Facebook, and she's got a YouTube channel. Be sure, go down in the description. The channel's there. Show her some love. She's a huge public figure on Facebook, and a lot of people are struggling with anything from depression, addiction, family stuff, like real life stuff. They come to you and they see your stuff. So go show her some love there. Be sure to do that. And I wanted to talk about the love-hate relationship of addiction in your life.
I think it was almost always love until the end, the bitter breakup. I don't know. I loved drugs because it was a release for me. So I used to cut myself when I was like younger. It's something I don't really delve into too often because I don't really have a great solution, for self-harm. So I know if I talk about it, people will come to me and ask, how'd you get through it? I just kind of realized, in a way I had to care about my body and my sense of well-being, right? And it was the same with drugs. I loved doing drugs because they made me superwoman, right? So I could get everything accomplished. And because I didn't have to confront the rage I've always felt inside, I'm very rageful. I'm sure you experienced some of that today.
Okay, so something about her, this is like real. This is what I love about this, because a lot of people don't know you, but if they really took what you're saying, they really do know you. Like and they relate to that. It's what makes you so authentic in this journey. Let's talk about a few of the drugs, okay? Obviously, Painkillers. We saw that on CG Kid's channel.
Yep.
You laid it out there, some raw, deep stuff. What else did you dabble in, even though I know Painkillers was your, fave?
I really loved ecstasy. Ecstasy. We're on a boat, and when he whatever he does, it does stuff in there. You'll hear that. No, I really enjoyed Molly. Ecstasy. I smoked weed for a long time before I did the Painkillers, but then after doing them, it made me feel like the world wasn't real, very disassociated, partially schizophrenic, I am sure. I liked the things that made me feel most alive. I never liked feeling dopey or nodding out. Like that was, some people love that and they live for that, not me. Like I want to accomplish the most.
Did you like the itch?
I didn't like my face itching or the irritation, but I liked about everything else.
Everything else.
Except for the headache that also came along with it, because I was consuming copious amounts of Tylenol while I was doing the Painkillers, and it fucks up your system, or it messes up your system. You can edit that part out.
Yeah, we keep it real.
Okay, okay.
So you said ecstasy, and I totally relate. I remember that. Like, there were moments the G-spot naked lady, the white G-spot naked ladies came out, and I exited this realm with those. There were things.
What? Oh, okay, yeah.
There was blue dolphins. There was a variety of different types. You were up north, so you guys had a different.
I got like the crystals, like the actual MDMA crystals, and an ex-army guy used to drive up to New York City and then bring them back. And he's like, I can give you cut or uncut. And the uncut or the cut will be a little bit cheaper. It'll still get you good. Well, I was like, give me the uncut. And then I did the same amount I would do as a cut, and I overdosed on Molly. It was
you
awful.
Overdosed?
Yeah. So what ended up happening is he's like, don't do the amount you normally do. And junkie me was like, let me do the amount I normally do because I feel like I won't get the feeling, right? So I did it. You can't see the color of my eyes anymore because they're black. And then everything, you know how it gets really bright. Everything became so bright I could no longer see anything. Like, and this is how I knew, like, my pulse is, like, driving up into my brain where it's like, and I went completely blind. And, like, so I felt my way to the bathroom, made myself projectile vomit everywhere because I knew this is it. Like, I am dying of this. And then, so I came down after throwing it up. Felt great. And then the high went away. I was like, oh, my God, I need to get more. So I did more.
I know that.
I was upset with myself for throwing it up because I was like, what if I would have just had the best high ever and I just thought I was going to die. But like I was really on the verge there.
Did you do more on top of that?
Yeah.
Did you have to go to the hospital or
no.
that was an experience you overdosed and you had to, panicked?
Yeah, so it took about like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to like be to where I'm not dying. Like I threw it up all out of my system, but then I gained my vision back, and then I was just so disappointed that I made myself throw up because I was having to come down that I convinced this girl to like give me half of hers because I was like, if you do all of it, you'll die, so give me half of it.
Oh my gosh.
You won't die.
The stuff we do, I totally relate.
I saved her life.
I remember we didn't do the Molly. Okay, my wife actually got to do that, but I was doing the pills. Like back when they had stamps and and I really, really enjoyed them for a long time. But then the only way I can describe it is there's that Lil Wayne song, "I Feel Like Dying."
We were just talking about this song yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, that literally after the come down. Oh, did Molly do that, or was it just ecstasy pills, or?
Molly did, it was more Adderall that made me you could have handed me $1 billion and all my lifelong dreams, and like my serotonin was so depleted I wanted to kill myself. Nothing would have made me happier. Ecstasy was more manageable during my come down, because I still had the afterglow, right? And then, so I'd have the afterglow because I didn't sleep all night, and then the next night I was able to go to sleep. If I drank or whatever I had to do, or I got Suboxone or did the painkillers, so I mellowed out again. I did method with it. I pawned my AK-47 for Molly, and that was my baby. I'll never forgive myself for that.
You did ecstasy. You've dabbled with Adderall. I'm sure you've tried practically everything.
Yeah, except for PCP and acid.
Okay. You've done mushrooms, stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay. What would you say was your last thing? Was it pills? What was the main thing that got you down to the end of your line, so to speak? Was it painkillers?
Yeah, the painkillers and the Suboxone. Suboxone was a big draw for me nearing the end of my addiction. And it was the prayer that I prayed. And, I prayed a prayer, God, take everybody on my life that gives me drugs. And then he did. And I'm like, I have nobody. Who am I going to go to? And then this dope dealer messaged me and he wanted to hang out to give me some dope. Well, I didn't do anything like that. Like, I just manipulated men into giving me things that I wanted, and I never had to do anything for it. And I knew what that meant, and I had a clear and conscious decision, so I chose to go to my mom's house to detox.
Now, when you say Suboxone, I want to ask, I want to probe there. I got a lot of people on my channel, and I know that you've talked about this on yours. So, by the way, if you're interested in seeing what Chanda does have to say about Suboxone, she's not demonizing, but it's your subjective experience that was something, and I say subjective because it was for you. You've seen it benefit some people, but you were chasing something, and you were, was it just using it the wrong way, or?
High off of it, no, and I, did very little amounts. I mean, they prescribed people, 8 milligram strips. I only needed 1 milligram of that strip to start, and I was high for 12 hours.
Wow. So you felt high?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it stays in your system for, I think it's 48 to 72 hours. So You know, you're not like withdrawing the next day. But when you withdraw, you withdraw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I asked that because not everybody's the same, and but I've had my experiences where I never got off of it and was able to stay out. I had to just go, for me, I had to go an abstinent route.
Were you prescribed?
It's Suboxone? Yeah, at one point. But see, at one point, you know how you know there's people and you get it, and then you're using it when you're detoxing, dying at home, and so you take it, and then now you know, I gotta wait 24 hours before I can get high. I'll collect money, so then now, after 24 hours, I can go get my drug. And so, tell me, we can sidetrack there.
No, you're good.
Tell me what led you out, what some of the bad stuff that happened, and then the end of your line to recovery.
I think there was it was a combination of things, obviously, but I think the underlying notion was always that I understood I wanted something more. I understood that I wouldn't let myself accept that this is all there would ever be for me. Most of me accepted that, right? Because you don't envision anything more than just getting your supply for the day. You're limited to that 12-hour time frame. You're not able to see, down in a couple weeks or in a couple years.
Right.
And 99% of me had just retired to the fact, I don't know if that's the right phrasing here, that's what I was destined for. And then there was that 1%, that little fire inside of me that was like, there's got to be something more. So I prayed. Like that 1% of me prayed, and at that point, I told you I grew up in the church and stuff. I didn't believe in all of that. I've heard of Jesus, all of that. And I remember the one time somebody told me, if you pray in Jesus' name, it's just a lot different than praying in other names. And I had explored other religions. I was part of the occult, which I don't talk about a lot. I was doing all kinds of weird, dark things. And I knew what other worlds were out there, right? I had experienced them directly, and I prayed, God, if you're real, take everybody out of my life that gives me drugs. And I also prayed to Jesus, like in Jesus' name, and bam! Within like a month and a half, everybody's gone. They've been there for years, right? So that was like the ultimate turning point of knowing there was something inside of me, right? Praying the prayer. That was February 2015. This is what stuck me where I'm at, why I didn't go back out. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, where they're raising their hands, doing all the speaking in tongues. I'm like, weirdos. They're cool, but they're weird. Right. Well, I prayed a prayer. I'm living at my mom's house. It's a tiny podunk coal mining town, right? Mm-hmm. There's nothing there. You drink beer and you ride four-wheelers, and you live in the mountains.
Right.
And you're simple, and they say yins out there. Like, what are yins up to? And I'm like, why are you doing that? Stop doing that. Right. And there was one Catholic church in the whole town, and I was like, I am not Catholic. Already no. So I prayed one prayer, right? I was like, I already know God's real. Okay. Okay, Jesus, if you care about me and have a plan for my life, send me a Pentecostal church like the one I grew up in Jesus' name. Go to Dollar General, and next week this guy comes up to my window, knocking, bam, bam, bam. The Holy Spirit led me to tell you a new Pentecostal church just opened up a couple of the blocks down the road, and he wants you to go this weekend, right?
Interesting.
So I go there, and they're being weird. They're doing their thing, but they have a fire. They had something I wanted. They're speaking in tongues. They're doing all that stuff, but they had a vision. And something inside of me had a knowing that I was meant to have what they had. So I prayed. I told the pastor I want to get baptized. I got baptized. I really did. I dedicated everything to Jesus, not knowing if the Holy Spirit was like a thing or whatever. Had him pray over me, and on the third day I woke up speaking this new language. Part of it was Arabic because I had it translated. I don't know Arabic, right?
Right.
And it just came flowing out of me, and I was given this vision when it happened. One day, you're meant to go out and reach hundreds of thousands, millions of people with your testimony, and this is how I want you to do it. And I want you to go out and share the darkest parts of you, essentially, and I'm going to make something of you. And I knew it was Jesus speaking to me, and I was like, this is weird, and this is never going to happen, and I stutter, and I'm not good with my speech, and how do you expect me to go out and speak to people? By the way, you want me to tell them I was a junkie, and you're going to make something of me? And then here we are.
So, at the end, you ultimately came down to a prayer.
Yeah, I had a radical experience, so a lot of people don't.
Not quite like that experience, but towards the end, I can relate to being at this lady's house. I just don't see it being possible. I just don't see being able to quit forever, because that's the mindset, forever possible, which that's why they're like, nah, right now, just right now. And I said a prayer in my head, and I didn't even name anything. I just said, if you want me to get clean, you have to make me, because I can't. And that was it. And dude, from that, like, something started to turn inside of me where it was like, you got this. Like, little things were just like this, the great I am, so to speak, started speaking in my head and was like, you will. Not, I think, I will. And it was this wild thing that started happening. And I tell people in my videos all the time, the way I don't use and the way I don't relapse is that there's a bottom line that I can't. And now I know that I can't, and there is no option. That isn't even it's not even an option. Then, you know, I might make other mistakes, but that thing isn't even on my radar.
You shut down like circuits in your brain where, you know, you would have had pathways that used to go to this one destination, which is using, right?
Yep.
If you habitually discontinue that pathway and it no longer goes to this destination, the destination is not lit up in your brain anymore. It's not as enticing, and you create a whole new channel. So my destination is here, whether it's making YouTube videos, or I have to go work out, or I have to go to my therapy, and it's bam, 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 your brain is off shooting. It doesn't go over here anymore, and that's what my brain is towards painkillers or actual, like, drugs. It just doesn't, I made it not an option, like, forcibly at first, and now it's just not an option. And
you physically, I think there was actions involved that helped to keep that way, because the name of my channel is Rewired Addiction.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rewiring, you literally made that an option, and now those neurons, that pathway, if you want to get scientific, is like, it skips, I tell people, they're like, okay, do you ever come close to relapsing? And that's a question I have for you. Do you ever come close to relapsing on painkillers?
No.
Why is that? You see what I'm saying?
There are a couple reasons, right, what I just explained, and then also I have a grave phobia of any pharmaceuticals now. Maybe it was a miracle. It was also partially because I had overdosed on them. But I remember also taking tramadol, like, early in my recovery. I needed it for something, and I thought I was going to die. And just any pill I ever took after, you know, my early recovery, it was, like I said, it was a miracle. It would make me my throat would feel like it was closing, my palms would get sweaty, and just instant panic attacks with ibuprofen, with Tylenol, I can't even take antibiotics. So I ended up getting like a spot of MRSA on my leg. I don't even know where I got it from. Refused the antibiotics and treated it naturally, like actually healed it and stuff, but I even, to the extent of I won't take antibiotics.
Wow.
It's you know, it saved my life probably on many occasions.
That's awesome.
God does cool things.
So how long what's your clean time from your drug?
December 27, 2014, so what it'll be, almost 5 years.
5, yeah.
What is that, in a couple months?
Yeah, a couple months, 5
and
years.
And I've had C-sections. I've had 2 C-sections. I had to get it out. Right. I stuttered. Since then, and they put me on like IV Dilaudid and the Vicodin. And don't get me wrong, I definitely felt high, but like in a gross way. It was
so
no longer
strictly
what
under medical supervision. And they knew, right? They knew.
They actually gave me more because he said your pain tolerance is going to be higher, and he didn't treat me like a junkie or anything. Like, he knew all about my past. I actually helped women in his office, and he said, I'm going to give you more than usual because this is the way your body's set up now. I went through the worst withdrawals ever.
In the hospital?
In recovery. Yes.
Wow.
The second C-section I just had last year in August, I mean, I can't. It's weird going through withdrawals while you're actually in recovery, like, because it wasn't a slip. I mean, you need them when your whole abdomen gets ripped open and a baby's taken out. But you're consciously aware of what's happening to you, and there's nothing you can do to, like, fight against it. Your body literally won't function. You're thrown right back into the place you were years ago. Except for this time, I knew that this was what was causing it. I didn't want to go out and get more because I was very well aware that I just put a bunch of poison into my system. Most people go to the poison for their remedy. Like, I just need a little bit of this and I'll be fine. Then when I recognize this time it's actually poison, if I put more of it into my body, I will be... It was a weird, total flip transition. This is making me not feel well.
Yeah, this boat is really, really tough, everybody. Well, Chanda, you're 5 years almost, and I'm really proud of that. I'm glad to be part of, helping get this message out there. Is there any words you'd want to say to somebody who right now preferably, I'm thinking female, but nonetheless, there's males out there, because the girls latch the girls, I notice.
Yeah.
Like, somebody needs to hear something from you. You're speaking to them.
I think I always like to leave off with the notion that you have your voice, your distinct voice, right? I know my voice. What my voice is the thing inside of me that wants good for myself. That voice doesn't want me to suffer. It wants me to experience love and joy and light in the fullest extent that I possibly can. It wants to be in harmony with others around me. That is my true self, my true being, right? Then when addiction or your darkness or whatever it is comes in, what it's going to try to do is latch on to all of the wonderful things your voice actually wants and distort it and muddy it, so that way you'll latch onto this other voice. It wants you to defend it. So you know those places where you go when you're dark and you're just rageful, resentful with everybody. I deserve to be feeling this way. Why can't I go out and drink? Why can't I go out and use when everybody else can? I'm going to destroy everything around me. I'm going to self-sabotage, right? It wants you to latch onto that and make it your own voice. I hope you guys are following this and this makes sense. When you do that and you latch onto that, what it does is it goes around your own voice and it completely drowns it out. You have to recognize that there's a separation between you, who you truly are, your voice, and this entity. And if you believe inherently that they are one thing, then you'll never be able to fight against this thing. If you recognize and make a true distinction that there is a separation between who you are and maybe the voice of addiction or the voice of your darkness or your self-harm or whatever it may be, your low self-esteem, whatever, if you recognize clearly that this is something separate than me, that's the only way you're going to have a defense against it. So if I just want to leave people off with the understanding that you and this are not one. You were never meant to be one. Your flesh suit that you wear, like, it maybe lets it come in from time to time because that's the fallen nature that we have. But this is not who you are. And once you start listening to this one a little bit more, you'll be able to fight. And you have the fight in you. We all do. It's crazy. We are incredibly powerful beings. So that's it. I'll end it out with weird stuff. I always do.
Well, thank you guys. Go check out her YouTube channel and her Facebook, of course. And until next time, Big D.